welcome to episode 3 of Beginner's Guide to Metal Detecting. Now I did say this one was going to be permissions, but I've got a little bit of work to do on that one. It's taken me a bit longer than I expected, so I'm just going to start on things to watch out for and basic mistakes that you make when you start metal detecting, because there is loads of little things that you probably, again, won't think of, but you do. And I've done them all, and other people have done them all. Whether they admit it or not is another thing. So this is what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just show you basic things to watch out for when you start metal detecting. Okay, so here's number 1. Now, number 1 is called detecting yourself. All right, because you might wonder what I mean, but there's loads of times I've been out, and I still do it now, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I suppose it's worse for ladies than men, but detecting your own rings, okay, detecting your own steel cap tote boots, detecting your own sort of things that you lace your boots up with, and just other metal objects that might be on your body that you've not really thought about. And we've all done this, and here's an example of when I first did it.
Checking the clumps, you just take it out.
This one? Am I being too excitable?
Just slow down a bit.
Oh. It's my ring. I'm detecting my own ring. Oh, is there any hope for me at all? That's why I can't find anything, 'cause look. Oh, I'm going to not have to... Now, if you're at home and you're a lady, quite glamorous like I am, don't wear your rings under your gloves, because look, it don't work. You think you found someone, but you haven't. You found yourself. And it's not my spade this week, because you might have noticed I was detecting my spade last week. Did you notice that? Anyway. So there you go, you see, it might seem simple, can cause you loads of problems, especially if you're looking for stuff for ages and you think you found something and you can't find it. That's why. It's ringy dingy ding ding ding. So here's number 2. Right, number 2 is called the objects you find. Because you get your metal detector out of your box, because I know I did. I got my Garrett one, I was dead excited. I thought, this is it. I had a rubbish detector before. You might be thinking, you know, well, just all you need is a metal detector. You look on Facebook groups, you see everybody finding Roman coins and Saxon coins. They've got a handful of hammered, you know, they never get any rubbish or anything else like that. You go out and all you find is bits of iron. And I know that's food, because I've had a couple of people message me this week saying that they've got a metal detector and they've been a bit naffed off because all they've found is iron. So my suggestion to you is that you've got to keep going at it. There's no way you can get any machine on earth, it don't matter how much it costs, even if it's £3,000, you've got to learn it, you've got to learn the tones. Now, it's easier said than done, that really. It's just going to be a case of just keep going. And it's just experience and practice. The only other way you can do it is there's loads and loads of videos on YouTube that are telling you how to work your particular machine that you've bought. You're going to get loads of people giving you tips, but sometimes people just forget that the basics of it and start telling you things that are, you know, a little bit complicated. So what I'd say is get on YouTube, have a look at things, and just expect to find 2Ps, nails, screws, Coke cans, Coke lids, beer lids, and that sort of thing for a good couple of weeks. You know, you need to be giving it some good hours. I would say you need to do at least 12 hours before you can start finding anything. Well, from my own experience and Twiggy's, we didn't find nothing for ages. So all I would say to you is just be happy with everything that you find, and one day you'll get your coin, because them coins are waiting there. They lay there waiting for you, I promise you. I'm going to show you some of the things that we found, and I'm going to try and put a date on it, and just to give you some idea of how long it was before we actually found anything at all. Tell you what, it's a fab hobby this, as long as you've got a bit of imagination. You couldn't do it if you were disappointed all the time, could you? Because, you know, in reality, if you knew, you've got to expect that you're going to be digging up far more than you're finding. I've been out now on my Garrett. I've been out on about 5 digs with that, and I'm just starting to learn it, but it's still a bit beyond me. I thought I'd have a little break from finding Coke cans. It's tiring work finding all these Coke cans. Anyway, I've had screws, Coke cans, silver paper, 3 ring pulls, and Twiggy's had a 5p, a 2p, and he's out there again. Right, we've done for today now. We've only been out about 3 hours, and we've just found about £1 in 2p's and loads of Coke cans and a couple of pie tins, and so we haven't found anything spectacular today, but we've still had a really good time. That's definitely not a 2p. It's too thin, it's too light, and it looks strange. Oh, I can't believe it, we found something at last. Throwing stuff away that might be some value, because you dig loads of iron up and odd stuff and you look at that and you think, oh, that's a bit of rubbish. But actually when you can get home, if you clean it up or just keep it somewhere, you can actually sometimes, people will say, oh, it's this, or you'll see someone on Facebook and think, I've got one of them, and then you realise what you thought was rubbish was good, and then you go to look for it and you can't find it. So my next tip would be to get yourself quite early on some like boxes or some find it boxes so you can keep everything in order and pull it out. So I'm going to show you what we've got. Right, you are going to get big lumps of lead and big lumps of iron and things, and you can't leave them in the hole. Everything you dig up, you've got to take home with you. It's just sort of one of those ethical things. Now, if you don't have somewhere to put them, your house is going to start getting took over by metal, as we've found. So what we've done is we've got 5 buckets, what we leave outside in the shed, and we put all lead in one and all iron in another and then all other scraps. So we try and sort the metal out. And then when you've got enough, you can take them to the scrap yard and just get a little bit of money for them, and it'll buy you batteries for your detector, or get you some burgers for a barbecue, whatever you want to spend it on, but it'll give you a little bit of money. So just keep that separate in buckets, okay? So if you know it's definitely rubbish, throw it in a bucket. Then this is what we do next. Next, we have a sort out of things that we, are all right, but we're good just saving them for a rainy day. And what we do is throw all those in this cap tray. And that's stuff that we're pretty 100% sure it's rubbish, but, rainy day we can have a look through. Now, if you can see here, I've got a collection of boxes here. Now, these are really for screws and things like that, but I bought them from Aldi, and they only cost £6 for all of them. And if you can see, they're like really, really good trays. So we've got one for coins that we can't read, because we've got loads of coins we can't read, and I've separated them into sort of readability. Then we've got interesting artefact box, which has got horse bosses in and clog clasps and bits of weights and millions of buttons, as you can see here. These are our best buttons in this one. And then you can pull that top bit out and you can see we've got more interesting artefacts, like that's that thing that I found there. So they're not really like valuable, but just interesting artefacts that I like to keep at hand. Then I've got this box, which is for better coins. So we've got cartwheel pennies in here. We've got quite old William coins in there. Little halfpennies, because they're quite rare. And Twiggy's got his special gold 2p. Have you seen that? Have you ever seen how that gold 2p he's got in there? So that's that box. And then we've got our best box here, which you can see has got all our silvers in it, and Roman things and watch winders and anything that we really value. We've got hammered coins in here and things like that. So that just keeps it all to hand. So whenever we want anything, we know exactly where it is. Now, them boxes, Aldi, you know how Aldi is, screw boxes, £6 for all of those boxes, and they just stack up and keep everything really neat. So that's what I would do before your metal gets out of control, because it does get out of control very, very quickly. Then you are going to dig them up. That's our jar of recent new coins, like 2p's and 1p's that's still in currency. I think Twiggy's dug up most of those because they all look like 2p's, don't they? But we're going to just throw them in that machine at Asda when we get a minute. It takes 10% of your money, but it's money, isn't it? So that's it for this week. I hope them little tips, you're going to take them on board, and maybe don't get so disheartened when you're finding stuff that's rubbish. It's just a learning curve, everyone's got to do it. So next week I'm going to try and, or next video, I'm going to try and make why you're taking on board all the tips, doing everything you should, and you still ain't finding nothing, because that's another topic in itself. So until next week, diggity dig dig dig. Remember, if you want to try and get some advice off myself or Twig the Dig or any other knowledgeable members, if you want to join our group, we have a group on Facebook called Dig a Dawn and Twig the Dig group. Here's the address there. You'd be really, really welcome to join. We've got lots of new people in there, so if you want to join that, so you can ask us questions, maybe share your problems, just join us. So until then, see you next time. Bye.
Dig it.